on, Mr. Khan. Is NXT a brand or not? I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling vlog who always tells it like it is. So despite the Usos finally breaking from the tribe and the SmackDown Women's title getting a new moniker, as I predicted, the real story I want to discuss has to do with some comments that WWE President Nick Khan said during an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. And yes, I know the report is over a week old, but Khan hasn't said anything to the contrary, so... Anyway, Khan said that, quote, NXT has the visibility to be its own standalone brand instead of just being a developmental system. In fact, this seems to be the reason why we've been seeing more and more main roster superstars show up on NXT as of late. Well, that and plus it seems ratings might be on a slump as of late. Look, Nikki, I know you're relatively new to the head office job, but I think you're missing a crucial part of the history of the WWE. They already tried making NXT a third brand, and while it produced one of the better Survivor Series events in a while, it didn't get off the ground the way they should have. I mean, the only reason that NXT even has ratings on USA Network is because they made the decision to take the program off of the WWE Network and onto USA on Wednesday nights about a year before the pandemic started. Not during it, like you said, Nick. It was that year that NXT invaded Raw and SmackDown to show just how good they were in relation to the main roster. That they were no longer the minor leagues of WWE. And at Survivor Series, they won the secondary and women's champions triple threat matches, as well as the women's Survivor match, showing all the world that they deserve to be recognized. And then the pandemic hit. The WWE were more interested in keeping everyone COVID-free than showing how good NXT was. The only exception was that Royal Rumble winner Charlotte Flair decided to go after the NXT Women's title at that year's empty arena WrestleMania. And when the main rosters went into the Thunderdome, NXT was left in the Performance Center, which was temporarily renamed the Capitol Wrestling Center. There, NXT stayed, holding their PLEs and other events in the center. They were back to being considered a developmental system, and, well, the talent being developed was not as up to standards as they were pre-pandemic. They shifted to Tuesdays because AEW was kicking their asses on Wednesday nights. They changed to NXT 2.0 with a psychedelic new look, only to change back a year later. Even when fans returned to the center, they weren't as excited about the competition as they were at Full Sail University. And those that got the call, well, just ask Keith Lee and those in Retribution how prepared they were and how they got hosed. And now Khan wants to go through this mess all over again. A third brand didn't work for ECW, it didn't work with 205 Live, and it didn't work with NXT the first time around. Does he honestly think the fourth time's the charm here? But, okay, the devil's advocate, okay. Let's just say he actually wants to go through with this cockamamie plan. If he really wants NXT to be a brand like Raw and SmackDown, here's what needs to be done with it. First and foremost, get it out of the Performance Center. Raw and SmackDown sell out arenas around the nation, and ECW and 205 Live are also in those arenas as sort of an undercard. If Khan wants NXT to be a brand, he needs to sell out more than the 100 plus in the Performance Center, and not just for PLEs either. Next, do not let Raw or SmackDown superstars show up on NXT. The whole reason for the brand split nearly 6 years ago was to showcase more superstars by keeping them on their respective brands. Now, they once had a quarterly exchange, if you will, but that was the only time outside of PLEs you would see Raw and SmackDown superstars together, fighting each other. NXT needs to remain its own separate brand with its own separate roster. And then the next draft, make it so Raw and SmackDown superstars can be sent to NXT instead of only the other way around. Then, of course, there are the PLEs themselves. If NXT is to be its own WWE brand, it can't have exclusive PLEs like the Great American Bash or the like. The superstars have to share the spotlight with Raw and SmackDown superstars on PLEs, just like the superstars themselves have to. This will be the most difficult part, as PLEs with just two brands only have 7 or 8 matches already outside of WrestleMania. And the NXT matches will have to be up to quality, since they value that over quantity lately. These are what Raw and SmackDown have been doing for the last 5 years or so. And if Nick Khan wants NXT to be on par with them, then NXT has to play by those rules. Not saying it's impossible, but given how NXT has been ever since its inception, that's going to be one hell of a transition. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling blogger who always tells it like it is. Pray for peace, and I'll see you